here are my bees. We have not opened them up since before Christmas, but there's a lot of activity. My husband injured his ankle, so him helping me out here hasn't really been possible for a while, but the very top box, we made like an attic where we put pine bedding to absorb moisture, which was a good thing because we had so much rain in January. But I'm looking forward to checking these girls really soon, and I'm just thankful to know that they are still there. I am pruning some of my fruit trees. It's a beautiful day. It's like 70 degrees. Would I call it fall spring? I don't know, because we still have lows right around freezing frost. This is an old peach tree. It's got a lot of suckers. It did come back. It did bear fruit, but all these water suckers have got to go. Oh, this is not the right tool. I really should be using a lopper for this, not a little pruning shear. Yeah, you know what? Pruning, it's like, I dread it. And it's also so therapeutic because doesn't it seem like life, you know? Like we hate pruning in our own life and our heart and the practicals, but it's the only way that fruit will be born. Is that a word? That we will bear fruit, be born? Well, it's necessary. And all these water suckers, they just take energy. And like, how much is taking energy from our life right now that keeps us from bearing fruit, you know? Lots for me, I know. I'm in the garden. It's loud, we have a blower. Look, I'm harvesting this. I think it was some sort of root veggie, like a turnip or something, but I had it marked as Mitsuna. That is not Mitsuna, but we will use it probably in a curry tonight. Welcome to my garden. I am trying to water a few things with our collected rainwater, but we do not have a pump. So that's interesting. Let me show you what that looks like. Yeah, it's not the most efficient way to water, but my water meter says these are a little dry. It's supposed to rain tonight, but I'm giving them a little bit of water anyway. I don't know, that might be kind of worthless, but I figured it's not like this is that efficient. Why not give a little bit, right? Oh, we have had some nice weather, and we also are about to have rain. There's like a chicken fight in the background. Oh, so I was thinking, I was doing some pruning of my fruit trees the other day. And I was just thinking about the issue of pruning in life and how much I dislike winter and I dislike pruning. Is anybody else with me on that? I know people who think winter is so cozy and wonderful, and for me, I love warm weather. I love being outside, and I don't like being cold. So I don't go, oh my gosh, what is that drama with the chickens? I don't know if you hear that, but there is some drama. Anyway, but pruning and winter are necessary. I'm learning that. I mean, even the fact that we get most of our rain in the winter is a pretty big deal, and I'm thankful for it, but then I don't like being out when it's wet. Those are just some thoughts of mine. But you know, if you've done any growing of fruit trees, and I am by no means the expert, I am super, super new still with fruit trees. Pruning makes them actually bear more fruit. And I think that's the same in our lives, is when we go through winter seasons and pruning seasons, it actually makes us more fruitful in the following season. Anyway, those are my deep thoughts right now as I give a little bit of this rainwater to my garden before it hopefully rains. I mean, the forecast tonight is only for maybe 1/5 of an inch, so this isn't really wasted. They're not gonna get a whole lot of water. Just doing a little bit, and then I'll let the rain do the rest, hopefully. Yeah, there's so many different garden chores right now that it's hard for me to decide what to focus on. I need to start more seeds, but I also need to check stuff out here, and I need to do a bunch of fertilizing of blueberry bushes, and oh my gosh, it's cracking me up. What is going on over there? I wanted to show you the broccoli is getting bigger. It isn't huge, but it is growing. Oh, it's so pretty. Don't you think that's pretty? I found out this is the solstice broccoli that I planted this fall for the first time. See how it's got kind of a purpley color to it? I like that a lot. So they are still growing. I'm a little nervous that they're going to bolt, but so far so good. Oh, that one actually looks a little loose, like maybe it is bolting. Did some tree pruning yesterday, just doing a little piddling around the garden today. I've got seeds that are starting to sprout from my peppers. So my peppers germinated. Putting them on top of the freezer might have been a little bit of a mistake. I mean, the warmth was great for them, but I had my son check because I couldn't find the stool, and he like misted them with a spray bottle and didn't tell me that a few of them had actually started germinating. So look how look how leggy some of those are. Yeah. So I hurried them over last night when I checked them to come under my lights. This is my setup. This is honestly super simple. I got these LED shop lights. They're 2200 lumens off Amazon. I did LED because we are always trying to conserve electricity. Our PG&E bill is crazy. So I thought that this would help. You don't have to have a specific grow light. You can use shop lights, like these are shop lights, fluorescent or LED. Now this is so funny. Look at my jalapenos. They are so tall. Last year, my problem was that was like the main thing that dampened off. I had dampening off for the first time, and this time, my main thing are those are the leggiest. But I'm actually super encouraged. Like, look, some of those are super hot. So that's Trinidad Scorpion and Thai Dragon. Super hots take a while, so the heat of the freezer was helpful. And I'm hoping to start some other things inside. I am not sure if that will happen tonight or this weekend. I want to start my tomatoes. I have not finished planning exactly where I'm going to put them this year. I thought about taking one of those beds I did last year that it did pour in and leaving it, well, not leaving it empty, but letting it rest from tomatoes this year. Need to start eggplant, need to start loofah. I tried to grow loofah last year and it did not get mature because I started it so very late. Oh, this is something I wanted to tell you guys just because I realized that some people might not realize this. When you have a green bell pepper that you really like, or any pepper that you eat at the immature green stage, you have to let it mature all the way to red to save the seeds. If you save the seeds from cutting open a green bell pepper, they're immature and they're not going to germinate. And I think that's what happened. I had two kinds of green bell pepper someone gave me on a seed exchange, and I'm pretty sure they must have saved seeds while the peppers were green, because those are the two peppers not germinating. So that's just a tip for saving seeds. You gotta let it get all the way mature if you're gonna save seeds. You can eat it green, but it won't be viable seeds for you. Well, it is the next day and I finally got around to starting a few seeds. All I'm gonna start right now, I'm gonna do this little plug tray and I'm gonna do some beets. That's it. I have been busy with making a birthday dinner all day for my son and laundry. I had tons and tons of laundry. That is very real life. But I am getting a little bit of seed starting in, which I'm very excited about. I know a lot of people direct sow beets, but I have a terrible, terrible success rate with direct sowing beets. But I think it's because we have tons of birds where we live. And I know a lot of places have birds, but we have like entire flocks of birds that come in my garden. And the nice thing is they'll eat a lot of the aphids off of different plants, but they also will eat my direct sowed veggies, the seeds themselves. And I know I could put like a netting over them, but in reality, I do better starting beets inside. Sometimes I even multi-sow them and then I transplant them in the garden, and that way I can ensure I'm gonna get a crop. So, oh, where did it go? Hold on. Ooh. So I'm gonna do a little bit more than my seed starting mix. I'm gonna add some worm castings to it to give a little bit of food. Since I'm not gonna be putting these into bigger cups, I'm gonna use a scissors because I can't seem to muscle this thing open. Okay, put a little bit of this in here. I'm putting some of the seed starting mix I already made into this bucket over here. Not a ton, but I'm going to mix it up with a little bit of worm castings so that there's a little bit of nutrition in it. I think I'm going to need a little bit more water in here too. Oh, I had this from last season. There's a rubber band in there. Okay, I'm going to put some water in. I don't know if that's enough. That's all right. I don't know if that's quite what I want, but okay, so I'm going to put it into my cell. press it down. Oops, got dirt all over this. Okay, I'm gonna press it down, give a little room for, well, I want it to go to the bottom of the cell, but I also want to give room to put the beet seed in. I'm like thinking, am I really gonna start this many beets? But I think I am, because I really like beets. And I always feel like whenever I get a harvest, I wish it was more. I always say, focus on growing what you love and what you eat. Because if I made a ton of room for beets and then I didn't eat them, that would kind of be a waste of my garden space. You know, same thing if there's something else that you love and then you barely grew any of that, probably should prioritize what you eat the most. All right, let's see. So I've already started my peppers. My peppers germinated well. I think putting them on the fridge was a really good idea. I'm still putting them on the fridge like at night, so they get a little bit of the warmth when it's dark anyway, when I would have the lights off, and then I bring them back to the lights in the day, which is sort of a chore, but I'm still waiting on those super hots to germinate. Well, some of them have, some of them haven't. Like Hungarian is always slow. The Reaper is always slow. Those two have not germinated at all, but I think the warmth is gonna help them. Okay, so I'm not even gonna mark this. I'm just gonna have it be beets, but I'm gonna do several different kinds of beets. I'm gonna do the Chioggia. I love this one, even just for the look of it. It's super fun to cut into. Do some of these. Let's see. I have not started my tomatoes yet. I wanted to do another succession round of lettuce. I wanted to do my eggplant. There's so much to get to and there's so little time that I just have to be okay with, hey, I got the tray sowed and the rest can wait a little bit. I'm not in a rush. We still have plenty of time. And honestly, if you start your tomatoes, they grow really well. They seem to germinate really well. If you start them too early, then you're gonna have to upcup them size-wise several times so they don't get root bound. So I don't wanna do that either. So I feel okay just waiting a little bit so that that doesn't end up a problem. I'm mostly doing like 2, I think, per cell. A couple of them I'm doing 3. And I don't know a ton about multi-sowing. I've done a little bit of it, like with beets, especially from Charles Dowdy. And you sow the 3 seeds in a cell, and then you actually transplant the whole cell and space it as if it were separate vegetables. In fact, sometimes you even give a little bit more spacing. And then they actually push against each other as they grow, so they grow as a little grouping. And I've tried a little bit of it since I had such a hard time with direct sowing. It felt like it made sense to me if I was gonna sow inside anyway, to put more than 1 in a cell. Okay. So the next one I'm doing from Redwood Seeds, it's the Touchstone Gold Beet. I like the yellow beets, they're really good. They are milder, a little bit less earthy flavor, although I don't really mind the earthy. I know some of my kids don't like it so well. They like the milder ones better. I like them both. Okay. Oh man, weekends have been so busy around here. We've had 3 birthdays in a row, each like the following weekend. This is the last of our birthdays for a little bit, and then we have about a month break, and then we'll have some birthdays and celebrations again. But it's always so great to celebrate life, to celebrate my kids. I like to make them a special meal of their choice. We do a special dessert, we do a special breakfast, so It's interesting to see each of their personalities come out and what they like the best. I dumped out a lot of these seeds. They'll be really good. So I'm trying to think in my head right now which bed I'm going to put these in. You know, I could interplant them or I could give them a little dedicated space of their own. I'm trying to decide what is a better idea. I'm doing a lot of these, more than the others. Oops. You know, beets are actually double seeds anyway, that most beet seeds will produce 2 shoots that go up. So it's already multi-sowing if you don't thin them after they germinate. I'm almost out of these. These are also redwood seeds, Detroit red beet. And I like these a lot too. Those are kind of the classic ones. So it looks like I need to order more beets pretty soon. All right. Okay, so do you thin your beets or do you let them grow multi-sow? I have the hardest time with thinning plants. I know it's important if you're going to have things not too crowded, but I think that's why I was kind of drawn to doing this. I could let the little plants live their life and I could just space them out in the garden when they were ready to transplant, and that was super appealing to me. Okay, we just have a few of those left. All right, I'm going to cover with more seed starter. As I said, this is just seed starter that I added some worm castings to, so there'd be a little bit of nutrition for the beets, since I am going to direct transplant them after they kind of get big enough to move out into the garden. And I'm not going to cut them up size. With peppers, tomatoes, all that kind of stuff, I don't put any nutrition in originally, but I do as soon as I move them up to a cup size out of these tiny little starters. These little seed starting trays, they're really little. They're like 1 inch by 1 inch. So they don't really have a lot of room to grow. All right, here we go. I need my spray bottle. I'm going to spray these. I'm going to put on a dome lid. And then I think I'm going to bottom water them and put them up on top of the freezer to help with germination, since that seemed to go so well with my peppers. All right, so I'm going to bottom water. You know, part of me thought getting all these videos done in several different days was kind of a bummer, but then I thought about it, and really, it's more real life for you guys. This is really the way that our family lives. There might be people who have the season of life where they can sit down and dedicate a lot of time to doing, you know, whatever homesteading chore, garden chore they have in front of them. But my life for real is jumping from one activity to the other and fitting in the little tiny nooks and crannies of time I fit in the other stuff that I want to do. Okay, that's pretty damp. I do have water on the bottom there. I don't know why it's not draining. Here we go. I get these nice trays from a local grow store that I can bottom water, and they're really, really sturdy. And they've already lasted me a couple years. I think they'll last me pretty much forever, which is great. Okay. All right, I'm gonna put a dome lid on. I'm going to put it on top of the freezer. The light's kind of crazy because it's got the evening west light coming in through the window. I just want to say thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you guys engaging in the comments, asking questions, giving your feedback of what you do in your garden, how you seed start. I'd love to hear if you've multi-sown beets before, or if you direct sow, do you start inside and transplant? I like to hear other people's experience. Yeah, I hope this was helpful. this is our life. We love it, and we're just making it work the best we can. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day.